Shabbat Shalom and Moadim L'simcha. Okay, I admit it. I'm addicted to the festival of Sukkoth. What an incredibly beautiful celebration. On Sukkoth we are commanded, yes, commanded, to be happy. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita ach sameach. Rejoice on this festival and be really happy. That's a commandment. What are some of the elements of that happiness? We move from the simulation of death, which typifies the 24 hours of Yom Kippur, to the building of a temporary outdoor booth adorned with harvest fruits, illuminated by a heaven filled with stars. What's not to like? This is a good life. We bring guests into our sukkah, people we love, people we respect, even a stranger or two who might not have a sukkah of their own back home. We call these guests ushpizin, our guests. We share our meals with our ushpizin, but we also acknowledge, along with the real guests we have sitting around the table, we have what I might call the presence of metaphorical guests within our sukkah, unique, interesting, even controversial figures from our past or our people's past. Maybe Miriam will show up, or Elijah, maybe Rashi's granddaughters will be there. Or we could be joined, it's probably not going to happen, by my most favorite superhero of all, Rocket Raccoon, the best superhero of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Forget that. All of our guests, all of them, enliven our conversations and amplify our joy one way or the other. Fun! Lulav and Ethrog. Kids in their sleeping bags, a sense of being at one with creation, and tacked on to the very end of Sukkoth, what do we have? An additional celebration, Simchat Torah. Joy, 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 joy. We dance with the Torah Scrolls. We march around the synagogue. Some of us even take the scrolls outside and march around there as well. We finish the reading of the Torah cycle, and what do? Well, we begin all over again. All is good. All is very good. And along with that, top it all off, we begin our annual prayers for rain during Sukkoth. Rain to revive the earth after what was, after all, a cloudless, dry Middle Eastern summer. Rain to celebrate the renewal of life. It seems, by the way, that many of our prayers for rain were actually heard a lot on the East Coast of the United States and, in fact, in Israel as well. As Bobby McFerrin wrote back in 1996, do you remember? Don't worry. Be happy. That's the festival of Sukkoth. It's great. Yet things aren't all that simple. I refer to Sukkoth as a festival, as a chag, right? It's that. Do you recall what the other festivals are in the Jewish calendar year? Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkoth, the three festivals. Each of the three festivals, along with, by the way, Purim and the 9th of Av, have special books of the Bible attached to them. What's the special book of the Bible attached to Passover? Song of Songs. A celebration of love, a love between two human beings, or love between people and God. Love. On Shavuot, we read the Book of Ruth. Yes. And we acknowledge the transformative power of freely embracing the God of Israel. And on the Saturday morning of the intermediate days of Sukkot, this glorious, happy celebration of all that is good in life, what is the extra book that we read from the Bible? The Book of Ecclesiastes. Havel havalim hakol havel. Vapor of vapors, vanity of vanity, all is vapor, all is ultimately without value, all is empty. For Ecclesiastes, life is an endless cycle. The good die, the bad die. The rain falls, fills the rivers, rivers flow into the sea, the clouds fill, rain falls once again. A cycle without end, Ecclesiastes That's just the way things are. Scholars study, most people don't. And yet at the end of the day, the fate of scholar and non-scholar, the same. The rich grow richer, the poor struggle to put bread on their tables, but at the end of the day, their fate is the same. Hey, Bobby McFerrin, if that is the core message of Sukkoth, trust me, despite your upbeat melody, don't worry, be happy. I'm going to worry. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks Elkman seeks to find meaning and purpose in the profoundly mixed messages of Sukkoth. Messages based upon the seemingly incompatible, mutually contradictory sacred texts, which we have managed to attach to the festival. Just last week, we read of Moses' failing struggle with God so that Moses might be allowed to enter the promised land. Not going to happen. And during this week, the last, absolutely final words of Torah speak of the deep mourning of the Israelites over the loss of their leader, the one who was described as having spoken with God, panim el panim, face to face. So there was death today, tears tomorrow. We enter the promised land. Joy, sorrow today. The beginning of fulfillment tomorrow. Is that all there is? The cycle. 2,500 years ago, the Greek philosopher Epicurus taught his followers to abandon all trust in religion. What we should turn our attention to, Epicurus, is the pursuit of pleasure. Now listen carefully to what is not being said. Not empty hedonism, but pleasure based upon a calm study of our world, our rejection of fear, an embrace of tranquility, and a disregard of pain. The Book of Ecclesiastes was probably written around the time that Epicurus lived. Their messages are in so many ways identical. Sacks would consider life to be part of an anguished drama. All that lives must die. All that begins must end. To will things to be otherwise, that's a thankless undertaking. We will not win that final race. We will not triumph over the building blocks of our carbon-based existence. We are mortal. Keyword, mortal. Latinate meaning of mortal indicates one who is going to die. Mortal. Those who once were not, someday will once again not be. The cycle, Epicurus, unending. Epicurus offered a way to cope with reality as he encountered it. Seek tranquility. Do that. Enjoy our days. Avoid political entanglements. Some people say politics can make one upset. Think about the nature of life, and in the authentic words of a 2,500-year-old Greek philosopher, chill out. And that, in many ways, is precisely the answer of his contemporary, Ecclesiastes. Don't look for meaning when there is no meaning to be found. Hevel havalim, hakol havel. Everything is vapor. Our existence is as insubstantial as vapor, as human breath. Our strivings will change nothing, since all of existence, Ecclesiastes now, is cyclical. We're born, we die. The rabbis fought over whether or not Ecclesiastes should even be included in the sacred canon, the Bible. They could not have done otherwise. They accepted Ecclesiastes as it is. But the rabbis saw, here's the point, that there is a space between birth and death. And in that space, there is an opportunity for human beings to experience love, to be embraced by love. And in that space, there is also the opportunity for human beings to, expand our understandings of of existence, the nature of truth, to transmit. We have a chance to transmit what we learn to the generations that rise up after us. So it's not completely cyclical. And in that space, there is also an opportunity for human beings to open all of our senses, to open our souls to beauty, the beauty of an unfolding rose, the beauty of birdsong, the beauty of powerful storms. I love powerful storms, gentle breezes, the power of a smile or of a comforting hand. That is what Sukkoth wants us to understand. In this space between birth and death, we touch the noble and the tragic, limitation and infinity, hope and hopelessness, community and solitude. It is within that space between birth and death that we celebrate, that we dance, that we sing, that we grow, that we evolve, we invent, and we cure. Despite their embrace of Ecclesiastes, the rabbis still believed that life is much more than just a circle. Almost like it's a spiral. It comes around, but it changes. We have emerged from Yom Kippur into limited, limitless life. We decorate our temporary homes with the fruits of our labor. We dance with sacred scrolls. We bring ushpizin guests to our tables. We know that Epicurus and Ecclesiastes are saying some very truthful things. But we also know that there is more to this space between birth and death, that space that we call existence, than just endless cycles and intangible vapors. There is life. V'samachta b'chagecha. So let's rejoice in our festivals. V'hayita ach sameach. Folks, let's really be happy. Moadim L'simcha. See you next week. We start with creation. Shabbat Shalom, Moadim L'simcha.